Prevention of file inclusion vulnerability. The best way to eliminate file inclusion vulnerability is to avoid dynamically including files based on the user input. If this is not possible, the application should maintain a whitelist of files in order to limit attacker control over what it gets. To secure against local file inclusion, you should not use dynamic file inclusion, which allows user to modify URL. So better to use static file inclusion. Assume all input is malicious. The most effective way to prevent this kind of attack is to perform input validation. So it's always preferable to sanitize input. Mainly the get post parameter, URL parameter, cookie values, HTTP header values. These HTTP header values and parameters should be validated and sanitized. It is also recommended to implement validation mechanism on the server side because client-side validation can be easily bypassed by using proxy tool like burpsuit and JavaProxy. Check both sides, client and server side. Most defenses are being implemented on the client side only, but I highly recommend implementing the defense on the server side as well. So in order to avoid client side enforcement of server side security. Use an application firewall, that is deploy WAF. This application firewall that can detect attacks against this vulnerability. It's a good addition to your security defenses. Limit privileges or restrict privileges. It means run your application with lowest privileges to perform necessary tasks. Create an isolated account with limited privileges if possible. In this way, successful attack will not give attacker access to the rest of the functionality. For example, like deleting and changing or modifying the files on the server. Right? And restrict including files from local and remote locations by configuring applications. Like maybe if you are using PHP, so there are certain flags like disable allow URLf open, allow URL include in the php.ini file. So this way it limits the ability to include files from local and remote locations.